Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of RTHD, and in this episode what you will be seeing is the performance of the Samsung S10e and also have a view of the Android Pie that comes with the S10e. Android Pie is, I believe, version 9.0, and during this video I'll probably be comparing it a little bit with the Samsung S6, which runs version 7.0. So as you can see, the first thing is what you will notice or should notice is the dimensions of the screen recording, and that is because as you can see how tall the screen is. So the screen is actually taller than the S6, and because it doesn't have a physical home button, but all the buttons here actually, like the back button and so forth, is actually on the screen, it makes the screen at about 20% larger, 15 to 20% larger, I think, which does it actually feels quite dramatic in terms of how it looks. And so with that being said, the first thing that you will notice about the Android Pie OS is I think I could show you it by just dropping down the drawer. Is that it's quite rounded. It has a lot of curved edges. That's one of the differences that I have particularly noticed about it. The icons, I think, may not necessarily be the original Android icons that bundles with the Pi. So what you may be seeing here is the Samsung icons. So as you can see, the Samsung icons, they have kind of simplified the icons. So for example, at the bottom where you see the back button here, you could also see that the phone icon, the messages icon, the internet icon, and the camera icons are a bit not too graphically inclined, I would say. And in other words, it's more flat. I was slightly disappointed with the icons, but other than that, the phone itself, actually, in terms of performance, the phone works really, really nice. One of the other things that I noticed is that it's quite difficult to get to all your applications, from moving. If you swipe, you don't actually get all your applications. You actually have to swipe up in order to get your applications. So that is something, for a normal Android user, that would be fine. But for someone who doesn't know how to use Android as yet, that could be a issue because it's not very intuitive per se. So that's one of the other things. Now, another thing that I have to say about Android 9, which I don't think is I don't think it was available in Android 7, is you could also go down and drop down. So there's like a sub drop down inside of the main drawer, settings drawer, and you could actually drop down there and slide through some of the settings there, which is kind of cool. I don't think I saw that in 7. And you'll also notice that there's a lot of Hamburger icons in Android 9 that gives you additional options and so forth. So you could actually choose, for example, I could actually change settings for the status bar, so I could actually show only how many settings I want to show up, how many notifications I want to show up on the status bar, so that it doesn't bombard me with too much to go through and so forth. Oh, I now realize you could show the battery percentage. I think I'll do that. So we had 94%, and I guess you can have an idea as well too, because I'm actually screen recording how much battery is being used and how fast. But I think that the battery it's going to last you definitely more than 8 hours. Of, I think, full usage, actually, or nearly full usage. So far I haven't had any issues with the battery running out during recordings and so forth, and I used a lot of the times for recordings and so forth. Now, another interesting thing is that if you look at the bottom here where the back button is, you will see that the middle button is supposedly the home button. So we're already on the home button, so that shouldn't do anything. And then there's this sideways hamburger icon, which does the tasks list, which we are accustomed to. Now, one of the things that I find was a bit interesting, probably to, something that I wish that they would have done a little bit differently, is that in order to actually close the app, I would usually swipe down, down meaning, like, you think that down is more negative, it's so to speak. So you think that down would close the app, but down actually opens the app, while up is actually what closes the app, which I thought was a bit strange, to be honest with you, because it just feels unnatural to me. But I'm sure it makes sense somehow. I'm not saying that that Google doesn't know what they're doing. They probably human behavior actually dictates that. So With that being said, you can actually see that the performance is really good. Now, the other thing is that I cannot determine, and so I'm just going to point this out, is that there seems to be a web browser built into this version of the S10e. I can't tell whether that is the Samsung web browser or not, but I have to say that it works really good. You can see how fast it is. Like, it literally loads quite fast. To me, sometimes it feels even faster than my normal high-end machine computer. So that's kind of cool as well. You see, I did it again. I was supposed to close it off and I opened it up instead. And well, of course, other than that, what other differences it has? Well, in terms of the settings, if you go to the settings, these are it looks kind of similar to the S6 in terms of the different options and so forth. And I think that most of these things may be actually Samsung versus the actual Android Pie, but I really like the device care, which is an sort of like an app. It seems to be one app that controls how much battery and how you could actually use it to clean up your storage and so forth. This is not new. I have seen this in the S6, but they seem to be, I think they added an additional feature, which is the security feature, if not mistaken. So that's something for those that don't know how to clean up their files and so forth. That was really good. Now this is actually running the latest version, the latest update, as far as I could tell, right? So the latest update was on April 4th. So this is running the latest version. As you can see, really fast performance on the S10e. I haven't set up Bixby or anything like that as yet, but it's running stock as well too, with a few different apps. Like I installed up a few apps, but I think it came with Facebook and I believe it came with Spotify, believe it or not. I can't remember installing WhatsApp, but maybe I did install WhatsApp. Some of this stuff here I installed up, and they run really well. So that's kind of basically an idea of what Android Pie does. Is it probably as nice as Apple? The iPhone? I don't think so, but how much can you change? I figure there's a lot of bug fixes and so forth that they probably focused on. And of course, well, you know that there's a little area for the camera too, so I guess they catered for that, the in-screen camera. But that's pretty much it. Everything is more or less the same in terms of like the Android Play Store. Well, I don't even use the Galaxy Store or anything like that, but yeah, pretty much that's pretty much what, that's pretty much what Android 9 is. So it's the latest and the greatest, but it seems to be very similar to what you probably have before, just with a little bit of difference and so forth. So yeah. So guys, if there's anything that you want me to probably screen record or show you guys in terms of performance wise, please let me know. Please consider subscribing and liking for more videos like this with tech. I bring out, of course, tech videos like this. I also bring out tech videos involving different gadgets and so forth. So, subscribe, like, and you could probably even sometimes request different videos, anything that you're interested in that from the current tech stuff that I have, and I'll try to review it and create a video, and so you get to see it back again. All right, guys, so thanks so much for viewing, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.